All right, let's talk music now. Rapper LandmarQue is keeping his music lovers in the dance floor with his latest single summer hit, Bafana. He's known predominantly for his hardcore and boom-bap style. LandmarQue showcases a different size artistry in this upbeat and feel-good track. Bafana is a celebration of joy, freedom and the carefree vibe of summertime, allowing listeners to indulge in the lighter aspects of life while still being impressed by his lyrical prowess. He joins us now in studio for more. Tabang, very good morning. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, good morning, good morning. I'm glad to be here. I really appreciate it.
It's an absolute pleasure. First of all, what inspired you to create a feel-good track like Bafana after being known for your hardcore, and boom-bap style?
Yeah, no, Bafana is really a celebration and an encouragement. It's like an older brother talking to a young brother about the importance of staying positive amongst negative circumstances. Life tends to be difficult, and sometimes you always need an older brother or another voice, an alternative voice, to tell you how things could be done in a little bit different way. So it's also just poking fun at us, in terms of the way that we tend to speak to each other, which is why it's actually called Dijo Bafana Baka, because the whole theme of the project, Dijo Bafana Baka, means essentially food, my boys. The title of the album is actually called Top Chef. Yes. So Bafana Baka, Dijo Bafana Baka is a single from the album called Top Chef. So it's no surprise that I'm rocked like this. Yeah?
I was just about to ask you.
There's an intention why I'm closed up like this, yeah? So the project is actually, anyone can boil an egg, right?
Yes.
But it doesn't mean you can cook. A chef takes responsibility of a dish, takes responsibility of how the food makes you feel, takes responsibility of the flavors, the textures, and the presentation. So Top Chef as an album and as a project for these holiday festive, singing about music, or someone who takes the role of a chef in preparing music, and how music make you feel, how music is going to essentially you are going to enjoy the experience from a musical point of view. So I'm Top Chef because I've been cooking. And the stuff has been cooked in the album.
I mean, just listening to you, it sounds like a very, very elaborate process in terms of, conveying that particular message you've just articulated. So let's talk about how your songwriting process was. Was it any different from your previous work?
This one was interesting because we had a writing camp. And it was in Nairobi. So I set up with a team. I'm working with a team called Umoja Sounds on this particular album. So I went out to Nairobi. We had a of music options, and I basically wrote for this project while I was in Nairobi at the writing camp. It was refined over the process of the year, and eventually to what we have now in terms of this finished product called the Top Chef. So the writing was inspired in a collective, almost like a writing camp. And we were just coming up with different ideas. And we wrote pretty much the 80% of this project was written in that setting, which happened over 2 or 3 days.
And how do you feel Bafana showcases your skill, as an artist in a much more lighter and fun way?
No, absolutely. Versatility, man. As I said, it's as much as it's got an undertone of an older brother, but it's actually making light of a situation that could otherwise be quite heavy, otherwise a little bit more intimidating. So the versatility there is, for instance, I use several languages, Sesotho, isiZulu, English, and also just general colloquial terms. So it's a very light-hearted feel, and it's also got some interesting components of traditional Sesotho sounds from a rhythmic point of view. So yeah, that's essentially what it's about, a very light-hearted look at ourselves as a people and as a collective.
I mean, light-hearted music is what we need right now. I mean, we're well into the festive season, and we just need to get that vibe. So what elements did you incorporate to give your song, your music, that summer feel?
Throughout this particular project, there's little bits of detail. In fact, when you listen closely, you'll hear that we've infused natural sounds that actually sound like the kitchen. So there's the sound of frying food, meat grilled, the sound of coals, the sound of a boiling kettle. In fact, the song that I'm going to perform today, which is called Kotas, Appetizers, Kotas, and Afterthoughts, you will hear a cocktail of sounds. You'll probably think you are in a restaurant instead of listening to a song.
Oh, wow, how cool is that? How cool is that? Any specific summer experiences or memories that influence the lyrics of the song?
Wow, food, man. food. Throughout this song, it's all about food. So if you are a foodie, if you are an enthusiast who loves your culinary dishes, this is going to be a festive meal and a feast for you. For instance, we have another song called Beans and Samp. You know, beans and samp is like a staple, you know, amongst a lot of us, essentially. So one of the songs in the project is called Beans and Samp. So you can basically tell from that particular that particular track that we're talking about satiation. We're talking about soul, the thing that gives you comfort. On that particular song, when I talk on Beans and Samp, I'm just talking about looking at life and reflecting on, for instance, it goes, it's beans and samps for the winter when things are cold. You know, so you can think about how adverse or adverse weather, sometimes all it needs is some warm, soul feeding food that makes you comfortable, satiated, and nourished. So that's what you can experience here. A lot of nourishment throughout this project. Very
I wonder how
interesting.
difficult it was for you to articulate that message through the food to ensure that it reaches people in the way that you wanted to reach them.
Absolutely. It's the thing that we relate with. You know, all of us have pretty much had an experience. Whether we are experts or whether we are novices, we've had some experience in the kitchen. And we relate with food so easily. In fact, food is a very good accompaniment for music, or music is a very good accompaniment for
Actually,
food.
that's true, yeah.
You know, the two things go hand in hand. So, you know, for instance, some people insist that a perfect environment is a combination of good food, good music. You know, so those are the things that we relate with. You know, this is the type of project that you play at the braai, the type of project that you play when the family is gathering. There's all components of things that are relatable, man.
And I would imagine our our viewers are probably wondering what your relationship is with food. Like, do you have a culinary background? The way you so passionately speak about food,
no, I have a
even
respect.
Incorporated it in your music.
No, thank you for asking that question. Actually, I have a great respect for the master taste makers. You know, people who are not celebrated. For instance, a chef, you will see the plate arriving, but you never see the person who cooked it, you know? So these are like the silent heroes slaving away in the kitchens that never get seen, you know? So me, this is an ode, this is a tribute to the tastemakers, you know? Whether in the spaces of food making, who plate delicious food and make it presentable in a way that we just salivate while looking at it, but we never see their face. This is a tribute to that. In fact,
I like that.
You know, on a few days ago at a concert, I was speaking to another chef, Tsepang. He's of the Smoking Fiesta. He started an establishment, and I have a passion for people who use the crafts that they have to deliver a message, you know. So he played amazing food, and I was saying, you know, these are very inspirational people. So this is my relationship with food. I'm an observer, I'm a keen observer, I'm a foodie, I'm an enthusiast from a distance, but I want to champion and celebrate them. And this is my ode to them. You know, they can play this in their kitchen. So if you are a chef out there and you wanted a soundtrack while you are creating amazing things,
great idea.
The album Top Chef by Landmark is probably something you want to play in the background.
And who knows, maybe you might have you know, amazing ideas in the kitchen.
You might just be inspired. New dishes could come up, you know. You might reinvent beans and samp. You might reinvent the kota. You might,
And how are you hoping your listeners will react to this piece of work?
Man, the listeners have started reacting, you know. This is, in fact, on yesterday, Friday, we released the first video, which is a song that I'll perform today. Appetizers, kotas, and afterthoughts. And yesterday, based on the release of this particular video, people didn't think that it was possible to blend this, because I'm chefed up, you know, in terms of the look on that particular video. I'm actually preparing food in the kitchen while people hadn't really seen myself, you know, in that particular setting, enjoying the process of making food whilst just rapping about it, you know. So I'm hoping my fans, or those who've known me from the past, can engage me based on what I aim to do with this project, which is relate to them in a way that they understand, you know, with informations and topics about topics that they understand. And that's it. It just locks in like that. And it's been great, man. It's been great. I'm hoping to those who will be hearing about this material for the first time, as they begin to engage with the topic of a top chef, they'll see a lot of details that reminds them of home.
All right. Landmark, the musical chef.
Yeah, man. Thank you,
All
sir.
the best, man. Thank you.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
And that was musician Landmark talking to us about his latest music, which is out in all platforms. And he'll be giving us a taste of what he has been cooking.